So quarantine's been going on for a while now, and as a travel vlogger, I think I've actually been getting along pretty well. It's allowed me time to catch up on work and start new projects which I never would have normally allowed myself time for. But we've got to a point in the UK where pubs, cafes, restaurants and shops are open now. We're allowed sleepovers at our friends' houses, and there's no restriction on travel within the country. So I'm gonna plan a road trip. But here's the facts. I don't have much money to spend. Like the entire world, my earnings have been minimal in lockdown and I'm still trying to save up for a house deposit. But luckily, I do have various friends and family members up the country. So even though this is a solo road trip, we're going for the win-win situation of seeing people I like that I haven't seen in ages and locking in some free accommodation. The great thing about being in the car is that I can bring as many bags as I want. So I've got my backpack, which is my clothing bag. We have this bag, which is a bag of goodies for Emily. We have my Ripcord backpack, which has all my electricals, or at least it will. We have my solo bum bag, of course, it comes with me everywhere. Phone, purse, keys in this thing. And then finally, the most exciting one is my brand new picnic backpack, which I think is gonna be a really nice little accessory for the walks in the Lake District because the entire inside is a cool bag. As you can see, we have a sitting mat on this side, we have an insulated wine holder on this side, and the most exciting part, wine glasses, cutlery, plates, all ready for a picnic. Got this from Next for 40 quid. Haven't even used it yet, but I'm so excited. Alright, bye. I've made myself a coffee for the journey. I've also been given some jelly babies by my father. You know, energy for the journey. I wrote a list and everything, but I always get anxious before I know I'm going somewhere for like more than a day that I've forgotten something, but fingers crossed I haven't. Anyway, we're off! So my first stop is Nottingham to see my friend Emily, who has just bought a house there. I am so proud of her, all by herself, like at the age of 26, like I just think that that's such an impressive achievement and I'm so proud of her and I'm so excited to see her new place. It's obviously still not quite done up. My sat nav is saying from Woking that it's going to take me 2 hours and 20 minutes to get to Nottingham, which is not too bad. Alright, I'm pulling into where Emily lives now. This is her present with goodies in that we've got her. Okay. Hello, I am lost. I don't think I parked outside your house, basically. A Tesco van just drove past me. Should I keep walking up the road? Oh, you only just see the Tesco van now? What do you mean go the opposite way? I'm not near my car anymore. I think I'm getting closer. I must be close. Oh wait, do you have a red headband on? Come here. Thank you. So after finding Emily herself, I was given the grand tour of her new crib.
And then this is your room.
Ooh.
Nothing exciting.
That is exciting for you to say though.
Yeah, it is. You get to sleep in here.
Yeah, this is your room.
Yeah, the dad's keeping his tools at the moment.
Okay.
You can do your Spanish lesson in here as well.
So yes, that's right, just because I'm travelling right now doesn't mean I'm taking a break on the Spanish. While Emily attended to some of her own work commitments, I attended my class.
Next thing I need to get on the table.
Oh yeah.
Is that Sharon?
Sharon!
Yeah, the one in the bathroom was Ezra.
It's beautiful! It's yours!
Nice.
And I have a gift for you!
Oh, stop it!
This is from the ladies.
Stop it.
After that, we drank Prosecco and spent the evening watching Disney+. It was so lovely to catch up with Emily, and in the morning, it was time for me to press on with my trip. Alright, next up is Leeds! 1 hour and 32 minutes. That's not too bad at all. I really like working very slowly up the country. Oh. I had put my car, because I'm parked on a hill, I put it on like into gear so that I didn't roll down the hill, and I only do that if I'm ever parked on a hill, and yeah, I forgot I did that, which is why I just stalled. Good start! Good start! Right, we've made it to Leeds. It's raining a little bit, but that's okay. It's a fleeting visit, but Tasha lives here. There she is! Hello! So I spent the next couple of hours catching up with Tasha in Leeds. I went to a restaurant for the very first time since lockdown, and it felt so nice to be doing that. Like a sense of normality was starting to return, even though the rules are a bit different.
That boat is not doing so well.
We went to Water Lane Boathouse, which is a beautiful bar and beer garden on the canal. The food was absolutely excellent. And then we went for a little wander around the city. This is my third or fourth time coming to visit Tasha up here, and I really, really like Leeds. It's definitely my favourite city up north that I've been to. It has a really young vibe. There are some really nice spots dotted about, and we always normally have a fun night out here too. In the fancy part of Leeds. Obviously, I was just there in the daytime this time, but we had a lovely time, and it was a fantastic way to break up my journey. It's now time to leave. Hasn't been very long here. I've only had about 3 or 4 hours at Tishan, but onwards and upwards to Penrith. Oh, 2 hours and 2 minutes.
That's alright.
So I get there at 6:15.
Yeah, you might as well go now so you don't get the rush hour coming out of Leeds.
Get out while I can.
Yeah.
Alright, bye Tishan.
Enjoy.
Thank you. I'll see Tishan on Sunday, I think, as I make my way back down the country. But for now, yes, the next stop is Penrith in the Lake District, which is where my grandparents live, so bye! So that is where I'm off to, my grandparents' house.
Good darling, stay with me. You're listening to Magic.
I feel really tired, and I'm not entirely sure why, because I've had 3 coffees today. So there's just something about driving a lot. So I'm half the way to Penrith now. I think I'm just about to start driving in between the Yorkshire Dales National Park and the Northern Pennines, near somewhere called Scotch Corner. Does anyone know? I hadn't seen my grandparents since before I went to Colombia in December, and no one in fact had been able to visit them during this whole pandemic, so the priority here was cleaning up the house as much as possible. My grandparents are actually planning to move down south to be closer to the family, so another big task to tackle is downsizing. But unfortunately, like everyone in my family, my grandma is a hoarder. So this task is going to be pretty ongoing. But I taught my grandma how to use the camera on her phone, so hopefully she'll be able to take pictures of the things she wants to send to the auction house. While I was there, I also started doing a bit of online house hunting with them. It's fun to look at houses for other people, and so we were looking at finding their first bungalow so they won't need to tackle stairs anymore. I was really happy with the progress I made over 48 hours with them, and before I knew it, it was time to head on to my next stop. Woohoo, and we're off! Luckily, at the end of my last trip, I was so close to running out of petrol, so I actually filled up, so I'm actually all good for petrol. And you may be wondering, Christianne, where are you off to now? So first stop is Keswick, because Keswick is on the way to Whitehaven, and there's lots of things to do in Keswick in terms of like the town centre there, and also like the lakes and places of nature that you can get to from Keswick. So Gavin has told me to meet him in Keswick, and that is exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm quite looking forward to going, because I haven't been to Keswick in God knows how many years. These are the kind of places that like we used to go with my grandparents all the time when we were younger, but now that my grandparents just can't really move very much, haven't been to these places in years. Like, you know, when we come to the Lake District to visit them, we don't really do any exploring, we just go and visit them and look after them and do what I've been doing for the past 48 hours. Oh, it's Reged! I used to go to Reged all the time when I was younger. I met Gavin in the centre of Keswick, and after a quick coffee and wander around, we drove halfway around Derwentwater to start a hike, which Gavin describes as the first mountain your parents will take you up on to conquer as a kid. What's the name of this mountain?
Catbells.
Oh, this is Catbells. I thought this was Wainwright.
Oh, so Alfred Wainwright was a guy who wrote about all the mountains.
Okay.
and I don't know, there's 260 or something, and this is one of them. Because people like tip off the Wainwrights.
It was so windy at the top, and I was glad I had brought my raincoat. It's much less windy down here. We've just walked back down the mountain, and then we're going to walk back to where we parked along the river. Oh, not the river, the lake. Though apparently it's not a lake, apparently it's just a body of water. It's so peaceful down here. I don't even know what my hair looks like. Probably utterly ridiculous. It was so windy up at the top, and my hair was like frizzing out. Gavin's just gone for a wee somewhere. If it was like super hot, I would just go for a swim here. It'd be so nice.
Close all the curtains.
Whoa!
Stay on the phone. We are the monsters, holding you still. We are the gallows.
The next morning we explored Gavin's hometown of Whitehaven, which sits on the west coast of the Lake District. It actually used to be the UK's second busiest port way back in the 1750s. Luckily the weather was a bit brighter for us today, so we headed in the car back into the depths of Lake District National Park.
We'll be together.
Yeah. Okay, are we heading to that waterfall over there?
We will pass the bottom of it, but that's not the one we're going to now.
Okay, so we're at the start of the hike. We've parked near
Buttermere.
Buttermere is a popular lake to walk around, and it takes about 2 hours to get around the whole way. I really like the diversity of the walk. Beware, what does that say? Tunnel roof is low at points. And also it's looking, very wet. Oh no. Oh, that didn't sound good, did it? Good job I'm wearing my North Face trainers with Gore-Tex. Hey.
Nice little lump.
Yeah. Nice backpack.
Alright, steady, go.
Halfway around the lake we found a good spot, and it was the moment of truth. The first time of using the picnic backpack. We had only picked up a couple of bits from the supermarket, but I was so happy to finally use it. We've now reached the point where Gavin is taking us off track because he knows, apparently, a secret waterfall, very secret waterfall. We don't even know the name. Do you even know the name? He doesn't even know the name. A beautiful waterfall which apparently we can swim in. I've got my bikini on underneath my clothing, ready to dive into the freezing water.
It's like the back of my hand. I know it like the back of my hand.
You do?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, all right. Well, we do know where we're going. It just feels like he doesn't because we're walking through some very tall grass. Okay, we've made it to the secret waterfall. Don't want to interrupt their Instagram shoot. I have suffered a VPL this entire journey in order to wear my bikini right now to jump into this waterfall. So here we go. Okay, we're going up there. It had been raining a lot more than usual the past couple of days, and so apparently the waterfall was 10 times stronger than it usually is. The force coming from it was crazy. waterfalls in my life, and I swim in a lot of epic waterfalls in my life, but never did I think that one of the best waterfalls, one of those epic waterfalls I've ever swum in, would be in the Lake District in England. My mind is blown. That was so cool. Good morning, everybody. It's a new day in Whitehaven, and Gavin has told me that he has an air track. Now, if you could have seen my face when Gavin told me he had an air track, I was so excited. And so before I go, we are blowing up the air track, and we have to do it like close to Gavin's place and then walk with it up to somewhere like a green area where we can actually use it. I can't tell you how excited I am. I haven't been able to like get to a gymnastics club in God knows how many years, and this is like the closest thing I can get to a tumble track. Here we go, with a lovely view of Whitehaven and the harbour. Let's do this. I haven't done this in, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, like since being at the gymnastics club. So it's definitely new, but it's so much fun. I'm just trying to think like what I want to try out. Oh, I want to try a free cartwheel. Yeah! I feel like any ex-gymnast can probably like relate to my excited feelings right now of being on this air track. Being able to do the things that I haven't done in so long, stuff that I'm not confident to do on the grass. I think I'd hurt like my wrists and my shoulders. And it's now time for me to leave Whitehaven. I'm so sad to be leaving. I've had such a good time with Gavin, and if you're watching this right now, I want to say thanks again for having me, even though I've literally just said bye to you about 20 seconds ago. How fun. The Lake District is so beautiful, and seeing spots which I perhaps have been to, but not for absolutely years, and new spots as well. And then going on the freaking air track in Whitehaven, like how fun, how fun. Now, I was chatting to Gavin about my grandparents and just like what their history is in the Lake District and what they've done, because my grandfather in particular has a particularly significant history in Whitehaven and Workington and a lot of towns around the Lake District in regards to rugby, because both my grandfather and my great-grandfather captained the Great British Rugby League team back in the day. So I was just like chatting to Gavin about my family, and then I was doing a little bit of Googling, and I felt like I did know about this, but I'd completely forgotten. There is a road that has been named after my great-grandfather in Workington, and it's called Risman Place, and it's right in the middle of Workington, and right now I'm only like 10 minutes from Workington, and I've never visited this road that's named after my great-grandfather. And so I thought, since I'm so close, why not just head there and have a look and just be like, oh, it's my name, because obviously my surname's Risman as well. I'm just heading to Workington now, literally in search of Risman Place. It's like the main shopping strip in Workington. This is so cool. I can't believe I've never been here. Like, we used to come to the Lake District all the time when I was growing up, like I said, but we've never come to Workington. I mean, I guess there's not that much to do here, but I don't know when that plaque was put up. I don't know if that was like kind of recent or kind of a long time ago. Maybe it was kind of recent and that's why I've never been. I think I'm gonna go into one one of these coffee shops and have a coffee on Risman Place because ¿por qué no? After a coffee and a little stroll through Workington, it was time for me to head back home. I stayed with my grandparents one more night along the way to make sure they had everything they needed, and then I drove the entire rest of the way back in one day with a quick stop in Leeds again, but this time to see my friend Maddie, who I hadn't seen in years. Getting away for the week was honestly the biggest breath of fresh air that I needed in my life. Seeing friends and realising how beautiful England can be, I returned home with a fire in my belly, ready to tackle the week ahead. Thanks so much for coming along. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!